Hello everyone, today going to be doing another Blue Archive character showcase, and we'll be talking about the current banner character, Arisu. Arisu's role is going to be a DPS AoE wave clearer who sits in the back lines, and she's going to have this giant railgun that she slugs around. And this thing is very similar to a sniper rifle in that it has a super low firing rate, even slower than a sniper rifle actually. So the single target damage from this isn't crazy, however Arisu does have a massive attack stat to kind of make up for this, and she also has this passive skill that increases that attack stat power by even more. So she does fire really slow, but she'll hit really hard. She is a mystic damage dealer, which is nice to get more of those, and then she has special armor, which if you did use her for PvP, which I don't think she's a good PvP unit, however, having special armor in the backlines is kind of nice. So her terrain affinity, you can read here, and then I'll go over her basic skill first since it is kind of her main character gimmick. So every 25 seconds, she'll increase her critical rate by 17% for 20 seconds, but then more importantly, she's going to increase her energy charge by 1. Now, she's able to store up to 2 charge. So kind of the gimmick with this character is I guess she's like a NEET who plays video games indoors, so when she charges up her, I don't know, energy, she'll just deal more damage with her abilities. So if we go to her EX skill, it deals a lot of damage to enemies in a straight line. It's a lot like Haruna's ability, however the AoE is far greater. And if you happen to be at charge 1, you'll do 1.5 times the damage. And if you're at charge 2, you'll do 2 times the damage. So whatever 311 times 2 is, which is a 622. So you'll do 622% of the damage is, I believe, how that works. So that's quite a significant increase, actually, if you wait for charge 2. However, with the sub-skill, it's similar in that you're going to increase your critical rate by 12.1% for 20 seconds, and the effect will be multiplied by 1.5 for charge 1 and 2 times for charge 2. Now, though the ultimate's going to deal more damage if you wait for charge 2, the sub-skill's going to be more effective if you're just going to be spamming this at charge 1. I did a DPS test this, and overall, if you just wait for charge 1 and spam, not spam, if you wait for charge 1 and then use her EX skill, you'll do more sustained damage over time for sure. However, this really does just depend on your team composition, whether you want to be using the EX skill at charge 1 or charge 2. If your team composition is high cost and you just have other abilities you want to get out, then I think waiting for charge 2 is the best thing to do. But if your team composition is more built around spamming the Arisu EX skill, then I think waiting just for charge 1 and using it right away is the best thing to do. So it kind of depends. And she requires more manual play to make her most effective for sure. And because of that, I do think she's best used in raid. She's not the best in PvP, partly because the AI just doesn't use her EX skill the best always, even though it is a big radius. The AI does a lot better with units like Ina and Nonomi, who basically can't miss. But also the AI just doesn't play around this charge mechanic for you at all, and she's a high cost ultimate, and yeah, she's just not. I didn't really found much success with Arisu in PvP, honestly. But I think in raid she'll be really good, especially if raids need AoE damage. She'll be really good because how her character works is she clears a lot of enemies and she'll ramp up damage over time. So she does a lot of sustained damage. So yeah, definitely will be good for raid. Let's hop in game and I'll kind of show you my Arisu, what my stats are and whatnot. Okay, so here's my Arisu. I don't have her EX skill leveled up too much because I just don't plan to use her that much until maybe another blue raid comes out that requires wave clear. As a side note, she wasn't really... she was still good in this previous blue raid we had, but But I do think a 3-star Cheese was probably better because this raid we just had didn't really require wave clear. It was more single target. But anyways, I maxed out this sub skill first, and then I'm just going to go for the basic skill, and then I'll go for the attack power last. Her attack power is actually pretty insane though, so maybe leveling this would be pretty good. She might have the highest attack power in the game. It's sitting at 3504 for me right now. If I go to my other characters, I don't think anyone's even really to that. Obviously you have to take into account the level of your gear, but I have a lot of T4s on my DPS, and yeah, it looks like she is just by far the highest. So yeah, this is a really high attack stat for sure. If we go here, this here is the accuracy value. She's at 690. That's fairly high. I do think it should. I kind of wish it was higher though, because the thing is she has a really low firing rate, so she's not going to be that good up against Tsubaki. Because I just don't think this hit value stat is high enough, and she has enough burst damage to really deal with the Tsubaki in PvP. So that's just another reason why she's not just the best PvP unit. If you have a Haruna, just use Haruna over Arisu for sure. PvP. I'm gonna take a look at the raid leaderboards. Want to see how many teams use an Arisu. I think this previous raid we had just didn't have. It didn't really need any wave clear. Should be here. I didn't really play it much though, as you can see. So let's see, top 10 teams. I'm gonna guess they like all use this team that this first place guy has. This is just a lot of single target. Any Arisu? No Arisu in the top 10. Oh, there's one here. Okay, so number 12 has an Arisu. So I think the reason for this, even though I think she's going to be a great raid unit, this particular raid we just had didn't really require AoE damage. So it was just better to use a 3-star Cheese. And maybe another factor is all the people in the top here having like 5-star units. So a lot of people just maybe yet to 5-star her yet. That could be another factor. Okay, so I'm going to showcase Arisu stages. I'll be one. It's requiring level 60, but should be able to do it at level 50. That 4 damage dealers on my account now. This will be my team. I'm gonna use Haruna's ability the most, since this stage requires a lot of single target. I do have Haruna's ability leveled up to a 4, I think. So Suzuko actually just gives me crit rate is why I'm using her, and then she'll give an attack buff. So since this stage doesn't have any need for AoE, I'm not going to be spamming Arisu's ability. I'm mainly just going to wait for Arisu to get to charge 2 and then use her ability. That just gives me more flexibility to spam my better single target units, which would be Chise and Haruna. Alright, so I'm not going to use this go ult ever either, there's no reason. She's just there just to give me passive crit rate. At charge 1, you'll see this yellow bar here. This halfway. Try to 2 times attacker for Arisu's ult. So I'll wait for this to spawn and I'll have Arisu and Haruna back to back. And now I kind of want to save here for the final wave. I think there's one more. I'll just play her for now. I'll try to like save skill cost. So here we are again. Should have Haruna right after. Oh no, there's actually one more. So I'll save again a bit. Okay, and then just the Haruna should finish it off here. Okay, that was pretty close, but barely got it there. But I won't have to do it again. Definitely won't be able to beat the 8th one, I don't think, until I level up a bit more. Let's look at the DPS. So this is kind of what I expected. Haruna by far does the most. Mainly because I'm focusing using her react skill, but also because she just does like the most rate of fire damage too. And then Arisu and Chise are about the same. Chise is a bit of a better single target unit though, just because she only has a 4 cost EX skill. But once we have raids that require a lot of wave clear, like we did on the previous second yellow raid where Nonomi was really good, then Arisu will be by far the best blue damage dealer, because the other blue damage dealers don't do near as much AoE as her. Okay, so that'll conclude my video on Arisu. Overall, I think she's a pretty fun character. Definitely gets better if you use a lot of manual play, because micromanaging, whether you're at 1 or 2 charge, just depends on the situation as well as your team composition. So I think she's going to be a pretty fun unit to use in raids. I just wouldn't recommend her for PvP would be the only thing, but every other content, she's really good. I also like her design with the giant railgun, so yeah, really like this character and we'll definitely be using her next raid for sure. That'll be all for this one, and take it easy and bye.